Hello coders, here's the problem. There's too much code to remember. What you do remember, you have little muscle memory of it to implement. This is time consuming and disheartening to think that you can't remember the code. What's the solution? The solution is what I call snippet style note taking. Follow the instructional video, screenshot at appropriate moments, then comment on those screenshots. Generate a step-by-step on how to do the tasks shown in the video via text instructions. So here I've created an example of how I would do this with a very basic HTML crash course for absolute beginners by Brad Traversy. I usually document these by saving the actual name of the YouTuber and then the video or course title. I'll create a link to it as well. And then I actually take snippets using my snippet program and paste it into the document. So here we have the title, what is HTML, what we need to start, a text editor and a web browser, and then into the actual nuts and bolts of how to create a website. We go step 1 as shown below, create a new folder on desktop. In the folder, create step 2. In the folder, create a text file called index.html and so on, right? So I actually have 4 steps here. That's as far as I got for this particular video. But if I was to continue, the next part is something called tag syntax. He just goes into tag syntax, and I would snippet this, come over to my document, paste it, and then write tag syntax, right? Now this is a very basic example, but just to show you some others, here is a 72-page document on how to create a .NET Framework MVC application. Here is a 6-page JavaScript event listeners document. Some of the difficult parts of that might be event propagation, in particular, event bubbling and event propagation. Here is this is by a YouTuber named Java Brains. This is on prototyping and kind of the inner workings of JavaScript. I'm currently working on a course that is teaching how to create a .NET Core MVC API, and his lessons on how to do .NET injection or dependency injection is really good. So I want to make sure that I record this, so later I'll always have it on hand. I want to end this video by giving some tips on how to create effective notes. My first tip is that if you come back to your notes days, weeks, even months later, and you can't follow whatever you wrote, edit it so you can. And that might mean going back into the video. Tip number 2, optional. While watching the video, take notes. Do not implement the code. Then after that particular section in the video, write the code based off your notes. This way you'll know if your notes were good enough to follow, and likely in many months to come they will be good enough to follow. Tip number 3. If properly taking notes is becoming frustrating or tiring, you may need a break. You're getting tired. And this happened very often where I would start to write sloppy notes, and I could tell when I started writing sloppy notes that I was probably too tired to learn to code. Tip number 4. The key with these notes is not only are there images to quick reference and step-by-step explanations, but it's also indexable. Sometimes the image or snippet says it all to your brain. However, the keywords needed to hone in on that one spot in a 60-page document should be there to save time. So you do want to write little indexable words under the images if you're not doing a full-blown explanation. My final tip, if you find helpful documents or links on the topic in the instructional video, or perhaps you just wanted to know more and you found something in Microsoft Docs or a W3 Schools article, go ahead and link those into the document, or you could even take snippets of those pages and bring them in. All right, guys, that's all the tips that I have for taking notes using the snippet style. Thank you so much. I appreciate it all. Goodbye.